Hey friends, welcome to my house. I am so glad that you are here today. So before we get started, I want to tell you a little bit about my dad. My dad was a beekeeper, and I remember as a child when he first started into the sweet business, or the sweet hobby that he started, our house was buzzing with activity. We were so excited. And I remember him putting on his full white suit, coveralls, and these huge leather gloves, and the straps around went around his sleeves. And I remember the hat that went around him and the net that came down, all of it to protect him from being stung. I remember his smoker that actually looked a little bit like a teapot, that he carried that. But the smoke was really important because what the smoke does is cause the bees to go into the survival mode. They go to the colony and they start gathering up their honey so they can start another colony. And this way they don't sting the beekeeper. So let me read to you Proverbs 16 verse 24. Here it is. Pleasant words are a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and healing to the bones. I once asked my dad this question. Here it is. Why does God use a honeycomb to describe gracious, sweet, and healing words? And he said a good beekeeper is going to place his colony near clover because clover produces the sweetest honey. You know, there are other places a bee can go to get their honey from flowers or other forms, other places to find their nectar. But what happens there, that it could produce honey that is not sweet and it has a bitter aftertaste. My dad also said that you position your colony in a place where it's going to get sunlight early. My dad put his colony up on a hill behind our house, and there it sat because it got the first rays of sun. Because when the bees warm up, then they start producing something sweet. You see, the sweetness or bitterness of honey is determined by what the bees drink and the amount of time it spends in the sun, especially early in the morning. Perhaps it could also be said of us too. The sweetness and bitterness of our words are determined by what we drink in and in the amount of time that we spend with the sun. Choosing grace is costly. For many of us, our first impulse in our heart and our mind needs to be silenced. Being kind is not easy. How often do you choose not to lash out in anger, or to yell or scream, or to put yourself in timeout? We might even have to bite our tongues. I've heard it said that a bleeding tongue is better than a hurting family. You may have to let go of proving yourself to be right, or saying I told you so, or demonstrating that you were right all along. But to use honest words comes from grace. Like a bee, when they feel threatened with the heat or smoke, they choose to fill up with honey so they don't sting. When we choose to do this, even though it's really difficult, we model to those closest to us the love of Jesus. Fights are abandoned, tempers are cooled off, stress simmers. Our gracious words wash over those in our house and those that we come in contact with compassion and with love. When we sweeten our words, healing does come. In this time of shelter in place, I know it's really hard. I think the whole world is edgy right now. So when a family member's behavior threatens you and you just want to knock it out of your house, we can pause and not sting. My grandmother used to say, if you don't have anything nice to say, just don't say anything at all. People are watching you. If you have littles in your house, they're watching you. If you go to the store, people are watching you. If you go to work for even just a little bit of time, people are watching you. Even on social media, the eyes of the world are upon you. Will you show that you take offense? What will they see? Will you use your words to elicit spats or squabbles or fights? Will your speech be one that soothes and heals? You get to choose. So 3 things to remember today. Make it sweet. Today, ask yourself these words. Ask yourself, are the words that I'm using and the emotions and attitude that come with it, are they sweet? The second thing to remember is this: does it heal? Do the words that I use bring healing in and into all situations? Do I say I'm sorry? Do I extend grace? Do I bite my tongue? And third, do you spend time with the Son? This is the sweetest way to start your day, and it will change the course of your day and your heart and your attitude. Proverbs 16:24. Pleasant words are a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and healing to the bones. You know, we can't quit talking about Proverbs and honey without a quote from Pooh Bear, right? And he said this: any day spent with you is my favorite day. So today is my new favorite day. Let that be said about you, friend. Have a great day. Bye.